Prince Philip and the Strongwoman. What is the story behind that sensational claim? Hi, good morning, Neil Sean here in the heart of London, and today we're truly in the heart of London, London's West End. And yes, what you see at the side of your screen is a brand new musical production. It stars the brilliant Beverly Knight. It's called Drifter's Girl. It's a story behind a lady who was very well instrumental in making that wonderful close harmony group so successful. Now, it's not often I comment on a show. I've been to see it, and it's nice, it's well put together if you like, but it lacks a certain sizzle. So if you were thinking about spending your hard-earned cash at the box office on this particular musical, I will possibly just wait until you can get the opportunity to see the wonderful Beverly Knight in concert. She is, as I say, a sensational vocalist, and sadly slightly wasted in this musical, but as ever, we have other bombshells to reveal. This time, of course, surrounding the late and wonderful His Royal Highness Prince Philip. Now, this particular story, I think, will definitely cheer Her Majesty up, because it will be a wonderful, great memory for her. It all centres on a lady who was a huge star way back in the 50s, 60s and early 70s. She was known as Britain's Strongwoman. We're not talking about, of course, the late and wonderful Margaret Thatcher, but we're also talking about a lady called Joan Rhodes. She was glamorous, articulate, and she appeared, for our American fans over there, on the Ed Sullivan Show many times. Became a very big hit, in fact, in America. She was famous for tearing up, telephone directories. Do you remember those? And apparently, she could bend iron bars and snap nails, all that sort of stuff. Well, here's the royal connection. Very glamorously, Joan was invited to Windsor Castle to perform for Her Majesty the Queen, the late Queen Mother, Prince Philip, and other members of the British monarchy at the time. Now, this was a very special event because, you didn't get invited on a whim. You were chosen because apparently you would be seen as a person that could entertain the monarchy. So this was a big coup for Joan. The show itself was put together by Peter Brough. He was a famous ventriloquist who had a dummy called Archie. Now, what's interesting here is he was a huge hit on British radio. So just work that out for a moment. A ventriloquist, a massive hit on radio. Apparently, and I can only say, as we always say here on the show, allegedly, he wasn't that good a ventriloquist in the flesh. But, moving that aside, he was the man that put the show together alongside some other big names, including British comedian Arthur Askey and, of course, the very glamorous Joan. Now, part of Joan's act was to invite 4 members of the audience up, male members, should I say, which she called her committee. What's interesting here is nobody seemingly wanted to get up, apart from His Royal Highness the Duke of Edinburgh. Now, as Joan described, he was a well-built man, very strong, ex-Royal Navy, that sort of thing. So she was a little bit intimidated that, in fact, he might steal her act and be able to bend some of the objects that she was famous for. Interesting to note for her, of course, he couldn't. Apparently, even the iron bar, the telephone book, couldn't do it. But she did allow him the fact that it got a kink in a nail that she gave him to bend. Now, apparently, Prince Philip dined out on this story for many years. He was a big fan of Joan. And the reason why I'm sharing this particular story with you is that Joan now features in a brand new book, which is all about her life. And of course, I'm nothing to do with it. I've just got a copy of the book, and I found this story and thought it would be wonderful to share with you. I contacted Palace sources, and they told me that, in fact, yes, there is a good record of that particular show. Princess Margaret apparently was laughing so much at Arthur Askey that she was upset that a mascara ran. So it must have been a great show. You can understand why Prince Philip remembered it for so many years. If you want the opportunity to read this and other royal stories in this wonderful book, all dedicated to a really unique British and suddenly then international talent, all about Joan Rhodes, do check it out. The book is called Iron Girl in a Velvet Glove, and it's a fabulous read simply because she met and worked with everybody from Marlene Dietrich, Bob Hope. She really became an international star from humble beginnings, and that's what I like really about stories like that, particularly with Prince Philip, because you hear so many negative stories and we don't need to go into detail on those. But of course, he clearly was a really good sport, loved meeting people, and as Joan recounted, really wanted to know exactly how she did her act. He was actually mesmerized, saying, look, can you actually bend things? Are these props? So she gave him them, and then of course he couldn't bend them, and he realized, in fact, that she was a tower of strength. A little bit, of course, like our gracious monarch, Queen Elizabeth. Neil Sean in the heart of London.